Hi, my name is Barry O'Sullivan. I'm from Moyla, Ballinasloe, County Galway, living in Galway City. I'm an up-and-coming personal trainer. I train out of this gym, Galway City Gym, and pretty much train people out of a wide variety of gyms around Galway City as well. So today we're going to do a back workout. Now this is just a typical example of a back workout that I do on a weekly basis in a gym. You'll be a bit more limited at home, but even if you have your basic weights at home, you can do a lot of rowing movements and stuff like that. Here today you'll see a lot more chin-ups, pull downs, but then again a lot of all your back movements are pretty much pulling and row movements. So yeah, leave a comment, see it, or try the workout yourself and see what you make of it. So the first exercise was the barbell row, another great compound exercise for back. I love this exercise because I feel I get a great squeeze and contraction in my back muscles, and it just evolves a lot of, when you do it with strict form, it's very hard to cheat on this exercise, which can happen a lot, and you incorporate muscles you don't want to, and too much bicep. Again, it's an exercise I like to do near the start of the session. I like to go that little bit heavier and go lower reps, and get a good strong contraction on my back. So yeah, it would probably be my favourite back exercise out of all of them, to be honest, when done strictly and proper technique. Next I did lat pull downs, which is another great back exercise. I especially love the contraction I get in this exercise. I love to really isolate the lats on it. Again, a slow, controlled movement is what you're aiming for here. You don't need a whole lot of weight, I find. You know, the lats are a strong muscle, but again, if you're pulling with other muscles or you're not controlling the weight completely through the rep, you're not really working the muscle to its full potential. So again, I love this exercise. I tend to do it in every back workout. Not necessarily at the start, but again, I find I get a great mind-muscle connection and contraction with it. So I like to kind of put it near the start so it kind of gets me in the zone for a good back workout. So then next, I brought in my first bicep exercise. So when I do, obviously, my pull workouts, I do back and biceps. And generally, I like to mix and match every second one. I don't do all back and then all bicep. The reason for that is I find if you do your second muscle all at the end, you're going to be pretty fatigued and you're not going to be able to give as much effort to it as you did at the start of the workout. So I generally go for 2 to 3 back movements and then I start incorporating bicep movements. So I'll generally go back, back, and then bicep, back, bicep, back. So my first bicep exercise was the preacher curl machine. I think this is a great exercise because, again, it's a very hard exercise for you to cheat on. When the backs of your arms from the elbow up are basically locked into position, you can't swing or you can't move your elbows back and forth or use any other muscles really to lift it, bar the bicep. Again, a slow controlled movement is what you want. Squeeze the bicep at the top and control it on the negative portion of the rep on the way down. And I find you get a great connection and a great pump through the bicep for this. The next exercise then was a seated cable row. Again, this is usually a staple in any of my back workouts. I usually go for a kind of a close grip cable row. I find I get a great squeeze on the inner back. Again, just like any exercise, slow and controlled. If you feel you need to drop the weight slightly and that you're not controlling the weight, or that you're basically pulling with other muscles, or you're incorporating too much forearm or bicep, like I said, drop the weight a bit and get full control of the rep. Next, I went with shrugs. Now, shrugs can be done in a various amount of ways. I suppose you can do them with dumbbell, you can do them with barbell, Smith machine. I actually did them on a chest press machine. Where basically you stand in beside and you just lift in a shrugging motion. I find you just get a great contraction this way because the bar or the handles are each side of you. So I think it's perfect to get a full squeeze at the top and really reach the traps, the upper traps. Again, this is an exercise where we tend to kind of let the ego slip in and use a bit too much weight. I think the important thing here is to start very lightly and build up along and get to a point where you feel you can get to that kind of 8 to 12 rep range, work within that parameter, while you're still getting a full squeeze at the top and just completely controlling the weight rather than just nudging the weight up and down. So next was doing a standing dumbbell bicep curl. Sometimes I do this seated just so that there's less swinging involved. I find it a little bit stricter when you're seated. Today I just did it to change it up standing while obviously trying to keep my form perfect and not swinging the hips or using any other muscles. I think the key here is to just try and ensure that you're lifting completely with the bicep and you're not moving your upper arm. I find keeping your upper arm from the elbow up in a completely locked position and not letting it move back and forth will kind of help you basically just pull with the bicep throughout the movement. What I also like to do with this that you'll have noticed is halfway through when I started to basically reach failure, I changed from a normal kind of bicep curl to a hammer curl variation. The hammer curl tends to be a slightly easier variation because you're not twisting at the top of the movement. So like I said, when I kind of got halfway through the set and I was reaching failure on the normal bicep curls, I changed to a hammer variation, and that let me kind of burst out a few more reps until I hit failure through that as well. So it's a nice variation there of kind of just bicep curls and hammer curls. Then pretty much just to finish and burn out, I just went for a close grip lat pull down. Similar kind of to your cable row, but you're just changing your position from an upright position to basically pulling down directly from above you. Again, I find this is a great movement. Again, it's all about feeling the muscle working, getting a full stretch and a full contraction in the back, and not just swinging the weight. And also what's very important I find in this exercise is controlling the negative portion of the rep. When you start to let that weight back up, make sure you're slowly releasing the weight back up and not just dropping it up. A lot of the time we just tend to focus on the positive portion where we pull down and then just let the weight back up. So like I said, the important thing here to get a really good squeeze and to burn out really efficiently on your back workout, control the whole movement of the rep from all the way from the bottom all the way up to the top again. So that was pretty much it for my back workout. Like I said, that's not set in stone. That's something I just generally go with. Sometimes I'll come into the gym and I won't have my workout made out. I'll just go by feel. And I'll just generally know kind of the order of the workout. I'll generally go for my compound movements first to get them out of the way because I like to be at my strongest when going through them. And then I start to kind of creep isolation movements into it from there. And like I said, do bicep with it, as a lot of the back pulling movements tend to pull in biceps, so I get a good back bicep workout. So yeah, if you want to give it a try, again, focus on not just the exercise, but the key points of actually feeling the muscle working, getting a full contraction of the back, controlling the weight, dropping the weight if you need to, if you lose that mind-muscle connection. And leave a comment or please let me know how you found it or if you enjoyed it yourself. Thanks.